Awesome. All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Advent. I am not a financial advisor. Anything in this video or any of my content is not financial advice. It is strictly for educational purposes only. Today, pretty much going to go over ATM settings again, but more so kind of helping you guys out with whatever you want your ATM settings to be. So Brown, if you want, since we spoke first, with your ATM setting, are you looking just for like a generic take profit and stop loss one? Do you want more like that's has like an auto break even plus a trailing?
Yeah, so I want some recommendations on the tickers because I think I've been very clear that I have some, but I've never been when I was doing options, I was never a stop loss person because I was always swinging.
Mhm.
So it's been something that I've struggled with over here. I got the basics, but then I just need like I guess help or recommendations for the tickers like YM, RTY, et cetera, like what the basis is. But then I definitely don't get into all that complicated step two, step three, step four, all that. Like, yeah, that goes over my head.
Gotcha.
I would definitely need help with the trailing and all that because I guess
Yeah,
I
we can definitely go over that. So generally for YM, I like to use well, I'm generally taking the 4 hour trigger as my first entry.
right.
So I just use like a generic, I think it's this one right here, the 4 hour. Yeah. And I have it. Oh, actually, this is the old one. I have to make a new one. So we'll do new. And then this one, I don't want the auto break even because that's what messed me up last week. We'll just we'll do a regular stop on this one. And then I'll save it. I'll change this to 50. Yeah, so generally for the 4 hour time frame,
Mm-hmm.
I find that when it does trigger for regular trading hours, it doesn't go 50 points. Well, if it does go more than 50 points against me, then the trade is completely wrong from what I've seen. So generally, when it triggers the 4 hour, it's either two up, two down, or three up, three down, it's not going to come back at least 50 points. And then minimum, you can start taking profit 40, 50 points in your favor. I've been having it at 50 points, which has been working pretty well.
So 50 and 50.
Yeah, as like bare minimum on each side. But of course, you'll have days where like yesterday, straight rocket up like 200 points.
Right.
So, and generally for like strat setups, I'll keep this ATM on. So let's say if I get, I don't know, let's say I get on this, like I want to get on this H pattern, I'll set the buy stop or the, well, it's actually not going to work properly because market's closed. But I'll put like the sell stop and then I'll manually adjust the take profit and stop loss based on that specific setup. Since with the strat, we're always adjusting specifically to what's going on now. It's not really fixed like other trades we can take.
Right.
So I just kind of just keep this one when I'm taking strat entries. And I keep it at 50 and 50 because what would happen before is, let's say if I'm like on a 15 minute, since I'm executing on this chart and I'm just charting on Thinkorswim, if the chart is something like this, let me see if it'll show it. And for the sake of the conversation, let's say I have like 300 take profit. Actually, no, I'll just make it easier. I'll keep the 50. I'll go to the 1 minute. So if I put the sell limit, as you can see, my bracket order is on, but I can't see the actual take profit and stop loss because it's outside of the range of the chart. So generally, I just keep it at 50 and 50, and then I'll adjust it because when I'm on the 5 minute, 15 minute, or whatever I'm at on this chart here, I can still see my orders on the screen that I can just quickly move around. Because it happened to me before where when I had like the stop loss and take profit, since I was on a lower time frame, and the range wasn't that big. I couldn't even see the order, so I had to zoom out and then adjust it. And I just like to be as efficient as I can. And if the candle went super against me and the stop loss was 20, but now I'm at 30, I'm gonna take that extra L because I wasn't quick enough to adjust it. So RTY, at least off the 4 hour, I find, the 50 point stop loss is cool. Take profit, you can just do whatever you want, honestly.
What do you mean for YM, not for RTY? I was like, 50 points for RTY. That's a lot.
Oh, no, yeah. For YM, it's the 50 points. I said
Oh,
RTY?
yeah, you said RTY.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not 50 points for RTY, I'll tell you that. But yeah, YM would definitely be like 50 points on the would be 50 points on the 4 hour if you're taking that entry. And then of course I just keep the same ATMs and just drag it on the screen for the other strat setups. And then of course, for my other setups, like if I'm doing the retracement setup, I'll have the stop loss is always 30 points. And then the stop loss or the take profit at 50. I keep 50 there if I'm leaving the trade on overnight. And overnight meaning from like, I open it up like at 6 p.m. and it might trigger like at 1 or 2 in the morning Eastern time. But if I'm actively managing the trade, I'll move the take profit from 50 to like 100 on the chart, and then I'll let my auto trail do its thing
Okay.
till I get stopped. Because usually if the trade is successful, it's going to give me at least 100 points just to give it that room. But if I'm not babysitting it, I just leave it at 50 and go about my business. Anything else on this? Yeah, that's essentially how I kind of make my ATMs in relation to the specific setups. The tweezer setup has a 30 point stop loss. So I'll just use this one as well, just to keep it uniform and I don't have so many. I haven't figured out how to delete them from this list. If anybody does know how, please
Oh
let me
yeah, you just hit the screw.
over here.
Yeah, on whichever one you want, and you put on. No, don't do that. Move it over to the left. Go tap the name, not the. Oh,
Oh,
you just did it. You didn't see the pop up. You just deleted your retracement.
no, that's fine. I can just make it right now. All right, that.
But yeah, a little trash can should pop up. For some reason, your window didn't show it. But yeah,
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 mine is
see,
showing like a little line.
you
All
just did.
right. This is
Yeah.
beautiful because there's like half of them that I was messing with that I don't need. All right. I only really need like 4, maybe 5. This is the new one. This is the old one. So I don't need this one. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the trash can.
All right, cool. This one I don't need. That one I don't need. That one I don't need. I'll keep those for now. All right, let's remake this. Well, retracement. And I can't spell. Is retracement not a word? I always get like that it's incorrect.
I think outside of trading, no.
Interesting. That makes sense. All right, this is always 50 points. This is 30 points. And we have even an auto trail. And about to make an entry. All right.
Somebody's off mute.
Yeah, I just muted them.
Okay.
All right. Auto break even is
So explain this as you do this, because this is the complicated part I don't get.
all right, so I have the auto break even and the auto trail. So they're
Okay.
two different things. So the auto break even is its own thing, and then the auto trail is then it's another thing, and you can combine them together. So in this case, let's say if I'll do 25 points. Actually, no, I'll do 29 points. One thing I've noticed for the ATMs, it would kick in a point after the number that you put, at least from what I've seen.
I
So
remember you saying that, yeah.
so if I want this to trigger at 30 points, I have to put it at 29 points, because once it hits 30, then it's going to actually move my stopper or whatever up, at least from what I've seen.
Right.
I could be incorrect. So the auto break even, once it hits 30 points, it's going to move my stop loss from -30 to 0. However, I'm going to move it to +5. So my stop loss, once it hits 30 points in profit, is going to move my stop loss from -30 to +5 in profit, which is what this is right here.
Meaning you'll leave with that if it comes all the way back.
Yeah, exactly. So if it comes against me, I'll at least leave with 5 points or $25. But I'll probably have to adjust that because it's happened to me a few times and I got a little salty because it went like 300 points or well,
Okay.
nothing, you know. And then the auto trail is it's another entirely different thing. The stop loss, I still don't understand what exactly they mean by the stop loss. I usually just keep it the same as what my other stop loss is. The profit trigger is essentially when the auto trail kicks in, which in this case, I want it to kick in when it hits 30 points because now I know the trade is successful. And then the frequency is when you want, actually, I think the stop loss, if I recall correctly, it moves the stop loss up by that amount. Yeah, that's what the stop loss is. The stop loss is the amount that it's going to move the stop loss that you already have in place as it goes in your direction. And then the frequency is how often you want it to move the stop loss up in your direction. So in this case, once I hit 30 points in profit, that's going to kick in. And then every 10 points above 30 points, I want it to move my stop loss up 10 points. So when it hits 40 points, it's going to move my stop from +5 to +15. When it hits 15 points, it'll move that to 25 and so on and so forth until I either get stopped out or it hits my max target level, whatever that may be.
Okay. Is there one that's like a little less complicated?
Uh,
Like
um,
you have one that's just auto trail? Cause see,
no,
I know for me, cause I kind of got a thing with well, once I see the money on the table, like I will never let a trade come back to break even. I'll close it manually first. Like
I
before
would
I ever
say
let it come back to break even. To like say I sat in a trade and got, let's say like 15, 20 points and I let it come all the way back now.
for you, you can probably do one that's
Just auto trail?
maybe not auto trail, but maybe just one that's like just a regular auto break even one. So you'll just do a regular auto break even. So let's say if that specific trade that you're taking, uh, on average, it goes up 20, 30 points when you know you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You just have it. All right. If this goes 20 ticks in my favor, I'm just speaking points because we're talking about YM.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes 20 points in my favor, then I'm gonna put it at like +1 or +2. So I at least come out with something if it comes back to entry. So you can set it like that, just a simple auto break even one. The auto trail, I've never used it in and of itself. Even when I traded options, I've never used auto trail. I kind of just use that more so for futures. I've never really, I get it for options percentage wise. I just never used it personally. But yeah, for you, auto break even is probably more up your alley because the auto trail, if you want to more so manually mess with the trade, then you can just leave it at auto break even. Because when you have the auto trail and you're trying, like you move the stop, the auto trail is also going to be messing with the stop as it moves in your direction. So it can be a little confusing sometimes.
Okay.
And then to answer your other question about like average stop losses, since the market has been a little more volatile, I have noticed that RTY, like, and even pretty much all of them, honestly, per candle, there is like double now. So for RTY, I always found like 3 to 4 points a good basis,
Mm-hmm.
but now like 5 to 6 will probably be like a standard, at least until volatility comes down as a
Right.
stop loss for RTY. And one thing that I like to do, how I kind of discovered the 50 points for YM is I'll just go back. I'll just go back on the 4 hour time frame, let's just say, and I knew my charts look weird. So I'll go back on the 4 hour time frame, and then I would say, all right. let's say it was Thursday into Friday. So this is the 4-hour trigger. And then I'll go on the 5-minute, or you could use replay mode. Really doesn't matter, honestly. And this was, oh, hold on, I lost the day for the candle. So I'll just go back on the chart, maybe for like a month just to get average data, because I don't really want to go back a year. That would be a little too time consuming in my opinion. So this is that day. Let's do that candle. All right, so this was Thursday into Friday. Oh, whoops. That's why I was confused. I'm like, these candles are look weird. There we go. All right, now we're on the same page. Let me redo this real quick. So let's say this 4-hour trigger. And then let's just take the last 3 as an example. This is Thursday. Yep. And this will be the short trigger. Wednesday. And then you can just go on a lower time frame, either the 1 minute, 5-minute. I usually use the 5-minute, and then we'll just see what the chart is telling us. So on this specific day, granted, I would just look for a TTO because this gapped up and I don't like when it gaps up. I'm not really one to place a limit if it gaps up to come down to entry. One of my students does this. So if he misses the initial entry, he'll just put like a limit order at the level and it'll come back and fill him and it'll keep on going up. It's been working great for him. Just for me personally, I don't like doing that. So I just look for a TTO in that case. But in this case, we can see, all right, it triggered up and then it went, let's say 5 points minimum. And it didn't go against us by 5 points before it hit that level. So now let's go to, so it's Thursday. Oh yeah, it gapped down and then the trigger was over there. All right, so looking at the Thursday candle, so we opened up low, I think like an inside bar, and we kept on going up slowly. And then it finally triggered here. So, all right, we will go long as soon as it breaks this level. We hit about 5 points. It reverses against us, but still doesn't hit 5-point loss. All right, so looks like a 5-point loss can be good. Let's look on this day. It looks like it triggered short. Again, I don't like to place a short if it gaps down or gaps up because something like this could happen where it just blows through you and then you're cooked. In this case, let me actually go back to that day because it triggered on the long and the short side.
Remember what we were talking about when I sent you that message yesterday? So have you considered that when it gaps up, maybe you should flip on ETH and see if you get a better trade, see if you get a trade that way?
I'm gonna have to spend more time like analyzing that to give you a better answer. Definitely, you can get great entries like London session and even Asia session in anticipation to move towards the New York session for whatever direction the bias may be. I would just have to spend more time personally, um, like back testing it and getting proper information so my brain could be a little more relaxed for it. So in this case, regular trading hours, it triggered long, didn't even hit 5 points. It came down, hit 5 points, you would have been stopped out. Let's see, on the short side, same thing. It gapped down, so I wouldn't have taken that short. I guess you could have taken this reversal if you wanted. I wouldn't have. I'll probably look for a TTO. There isn't necessarily any clean ones here. Maybe this 2-1-2 down, this one would have stopped me because it didn't complete. But essentially what you would just do to find out what may be an average stop loss for whatever it is that you trade, just back test it and then get whatever triggers you take if you are going long over the bigger ones or even the smaller time frames based on your setup. And then from there, you can determine, all right, on average, this is how much it loses, this is how much it makes. All right, let me go make my ATM in relation to that. Just again, to make it easier.
Got it.
So definitely for RTY, I would say about 4 to 5 points with the candles now, probably 5 to 6 points as an average stop loss and average take profit.
Okay.
We can see, of course, that we will get stopped out. That's nothing is 100%, but we can mitigate that obviously by respecting the stop loss and looking for other setups.
And so how would you translate that then down to like micros if you're trying to reduce risk? Just translate it into dollars and do it on and do the same stop on micros?
Definitely. So with micros, it depends the way you want to take it in the sense of, let's say I'm looking at YM. Let's go back here. Like, let's say you want to scale out of your position, which sometimes I'll go on the micros and do this instead, which I should have done on Friday because I could have let some runners for a bigger piece of the position. So let's go here. So like I mentioned, generally my stop loss is 50 points, or actually always 50 points for the 4-hour triggers on YM, and I use 2 for this one. So on this trade, I was risking $500 on this specific trade, but because the 4-hour trigger usually works out, I will be okay with taking that loss because the winners are outweighing the losers. So in this case, that'll be a $500 loss on YM. Now, I only have the option to scale out twice, or actually technically once, because the second position will be closing the trade. So in this case, I took profit off at the first level, which is 50 points for the first contract. And then the second one, I got out at 100 points. That was my max target for these setups. So it's usually 100 points. But what I'm probably going to do in anticipation of really big moves like this, I can go down to 20 MYM and take 10 off at, let's say, target 1, which is 50 points, the similar thing as 1 YM contract. And then for the last remaining 10 contracts, I can have it so I take half off, like 5 MYM at 100 points, and then the last 5 I leave as a runner position. Now, how I would do that when it comes to the ATM setting is something like this. Yeah, let's do that. So let's say I have 20, and then let's do 4-hour 20 MYM. I always put the amount of contracts just so I know what I need to configure this to. Because if I have something like this, where actually this one's going to be, yeah, this one's going to be 3. So if I have something like this, like 10, 5, and 5, I'm not sure if the system is going to also include those 5 and 5 and 10, even if I only have 2. So you might like open up opposite orders because that's what you program the system for. So I always make a note, like, 4-hour 20 MYM, so on and so forth, just so I remember how many contracts I need to put for this. So in this case, just a regular stop loss. So it'd be 50 points at the first 10 that are going to be taken off. This will be 100. And then this, I could just leave it at like 200 if I want. And then my stop loss is going to be 50 for all of them because that's the entire position. And then what I'll do for the second one is I'll set a auto break even. So I'll do the profit trigger at 50 points or 49. And then I want to be in profit, let's just say 10 points if it goes 50 points in my favor. And then same thing for the second one. For this one, I'll do an auto break even and a trail because if I don't want to babysit the last remaining contracts, I could let the auto trail do its thing. So similarly, once it hits target 1, and I can do let's do 15 points. So every 15 points, it goes in my favor. And then it'll trigger at 49 or 50 points. So in this case, my first set of contracts are automatically going to be taken out at target one by itself. The second one is either going to hit take profit at 100, or it's going to come back to my entry and take me out at plus 10 points in profit. Same thing for the other five that I have there. So once it hits target one, this entire trade is a risk-free trade. And then because I would want the last set of contracts as a runner to squeeze out as much as it can, I'll just set like a really high target, and then I'll just let the auto trail just do its thing. So I could literally just walk away at that. Well, I could walk away as soon as I place the trade, honestly. But in this case, I'll just let the entire trade automate itself, and I don't even need to babysit it. So now if I go to the chart, let's say I want to go short here. I want to go short there. We can already see that as you can see by the highlight, it already has the take profit for all the contracts. And all I need to do is hit send or submit, and that's it. It's completely automated. Now, something that I'm going to do with my cousin, whenever he decides to join us, probably later on when you guys get off. For his MYM, I think he's using one, since he still want to get comfortable with the platform. But what I'm going to have him do is probably do something like, let's do two. Let's just say the first one, if it's going to be for strat, let's say 50 and 50. And then this one is going to be,
So what's the difference between auto break even and auto trail? Just auto trail by itself?
so auto trail, let's say, actually, let me go back to that one so it'll make more sense when I'm showing it. So if I don't have the auto break even,
Mhm.
the auto trail is only going to kick in once it hits 50 points in profit. My stop loss is still going to be at negative 50. So every 15 points it goes for me, it's going to move my stop loss up 15 points from negative 50. So negative 50, negative 35, negative 20, negative 5, plus 10, plus 25, so on and so forth. As opposed to starting off at plus 10, then plus 15, so on and so forth.
Okay, so you need the auto break even to move you up from the original negative 50. Is that
Yeah,
right? Yeah, okay.
from my understanding of it. I've never done auto trail by itself. I'll probably have to just experiment with it to give you a better answer, but that's my understanding of it.
Okay,
The trailing is going to kick in from the negative price, not a positive price.
got it. Okay, so that makes sense then. All right, so now I understand that. I'm like, why wouldn't it just trail you? But now I understand that. If you don't have the auto break even, it will never move.
Yeah, exactly. It'll just move from negative until it gets to positive, as opposed to starting from positive and then continuing up positive.
Understood. All right, now that makes sense.
And then, like I was mentioning, for people who may trade the strat, and obviously we have what's it called? Can't really show it you now because the market's closed. Let me just do it on Bitcoin on TradingView. Hopefully this will make it make sense on what I'm trying to get at. So let's go to Bitcoin. And let's just say that we want to go long here. Actually, let's do 2 units. And then let's say my stop loss is down here for the entire position. And then my max take profit is up here. And I have a target there. So I could just do, so we're pretending this is like my ATM that has like everything built into it. So let's just say it's like this, right? So if you have two contracts, I can leave one of them at like whatever the first target is based on my ATM. And then the second one, since I split the two contracts, I can just adjust it to whatever I want. Does that make sense? Hopefully, maybe. Maybe I'll take this off so it's less confusing.
Yeah, you love that
So if I have two sell limit orders on the ATM, something like this, where they're like matching on both, I can just take one of them and be like, all right, target 2 is going to be up here. So let me just move that manually myself. And then the first one, if it's like this, I can just be like, all right, well, the first trade is going to be here. And then the second target is there. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that way, you can just adjust it because with the strat, it's always going to be random wherever the take profit and stop loss is and the different, wherever the candles are if you're using that method. So in translating this to the ATM setting, it would be something like this. And I'll try to show both at the same time to hopefully make sense. And let's do this here side by side. So if I wanted one, let's turn that off. If I wanted one, let's just say that's just two contracts, one and one, and I could just turn that off. It'll be similar to this where there's two positions, but separated. So I can adjust manually each one where I want it to be, but my stop loss is the same for both, as we can see there. So then I'm just using these take profit and stop losses. I can keep it like this. This is just an arbitrary number. It can be whatever you want, honestly. And then I'll manually adjust those take profit and stop losses, on the chart as I did here for Bitcoin. So in this case, it hasn't taken profit probably because of the spread. But once it breaks through that level, it'll take one contract off and then it'll leave my last one. And then, you can just move your stop to break even. So boom, it took one off. Generally with the auto break even, it'll kick in and then boom, I'm plus 3 points or 5 points, whatever it may be. And now it's a risk-free trade. And now I'm just waiting. It's either going to hit target 2 or it's going to come back to entry plus whatever the offset is that you made it. And that's it. Just again, for me, it's really all about making trading as efficient as I can. So boom, there you go. Didn't even do anything. The ATM setting did it for me. So
All right, so go back to Tradovate and break that down. Break that down one more time, like how you set it all up.
yeah, so in here for Tradovate, it'll just be, let's say you have two YM contracts. Let me get rid of this one here. And here I have two YM. And then since the orders are split, I can adjust each order myself manually. Because if I just have one order like this, with, in this case, if I save this and then I have two contracts, it's just going to open one order for two contracts. I can't manually have one order selling because one thing that I've noticed for Tradovate, it's not like TradingView, how we just saw it for Bitcoin, where it automatically adjusted the stop loss to one contract. So if I open a sell limit for two, and then you want to be like, all right, well, I want to only sell one. So let me get one contract and then put like a buy limit if it's a short. That way it'll take one off from the two. The ATM, the brackets are still going to be 2 and 2. So if it hits your take profit or your stop loss, it's going to have that additional order in the bracket setting that you program. So now it's going to open up an opposite order instead of taking the whole position off.
Right.
So in this case, when we split the order with the two contracts, now it's going to have each individual trade separate. So I can, all right, the first target, instead of 50 points based on the strat, it's going to be 30 points at the first target. And then target 2 is going to be 50 points. So then I'll just manually adjust that, or 55 points or 52, whatever it may be. And then I can manually adjust that on the chart to whatever my liking is and what the setup is giving.
Okay. Now, can you break down how you would set up the auto break even according to what you may want it to trail to again?
Like the Bitcoin example that I just showed.
Yeah, like I wanna get it in my head like how you use the auto break even to your favor.
Gotcha. So in this case, with the Bitcoin one, well, when I'm doing a strat setup, I don't use auto break even because each trade is going to be subjective where my first target is. So for the sake of the conversation, let's say we're doing a retracement trade. Uh, wait, what the heck is this? Didn't I do auto break even? There we go. Let me make sure this is correct. Oh, this is MYM. That's why I don't use that setup here. All right, so let's just make one up right now. So in this case, let's just say you are doing the 4 hour trigger.
Mhm.
You already know that if it goes 50 points in your favor, that it's a winning trade. And as always, you don't want to let it come back negative or back to entry. So my profit trigger would be 49. And then let's say I want to leave a $5 in profit if it does come back against me. And then that's how your auto break even will be set. Make sure always to put it 1 tick or 1 point. Well, for YM, it'll be 1 point, but if it's like NQ, ES, RTY, always make it 1 tick from the actual profit target.
So so before you move on, let me make sure I understand this. So with this, as you have it laid out, this means that once I hit $50 in profit, 50 points in profit, it will then allow it to go all the way back to nothing except for +5. So that means that if it goes all the way back against me, I won't secure the 50. I will leave with 5 because I have +5 in the auto break even. It will let it go all the way back to +5 if it goes all the way back there. That's all I'll leave with.
Correct. Yep.
Now, how do I shorten that? Because let's say if I get to 50, I don't want to give all that up. I don't want to give 45 up. How can I work the auto break even to keep me to make it a little tighter? So like let's say I got to 50 and I want to keep 25.
Yeah. So you would just put the plus to 25,
Okay. Okay.
and then you could really just make it whatever you want. In this case, I just use +5 because sometimes it'll like pull back a little bit, or like it'll go, I don't know, like 50 points, then it'll pull back a little bit.
Yeah,
And
no, I'm not letting 500 go back to 50. I will never do that.
yeah, definitely not.
I
So
don't care what the circumstance ain't gonna happen.
So especially if you're using a prop firm, because though that trailing will kill you, I'll tell you that. So generally, for those who may trade prop firms, I'm a lot more conservative with letting positions be really high up. So like when I'm in the trailing phase, I would generally take my profit quick. And then once I'm out of the trailing, then I'll be more liberal with, the wide take profits and stop losses in the sense of like auto break even and stuff, because I can allow and give my trade room to breathe. But if I'm up 1,000 and let it come back and take me out at like plus 50 points, $50 in profit, now my trading drawdown has increased by 1,000, but I only secured $50, which you don't
Right.
know. So when you're out of trailing, yeah, you can definitely be a little more liberal, but until you get out of that, you want to be a little tighter with taking profit. So yeah,
So,
this
so to be correct, so the key here is you want auto break even because you don't want because auto trail will always leave you at your starting point in the negative.
correct. So instead, if from my understanding, if I had auto trail, let's say I wanted to increase the stop loss by 15 points, and then I wanted to also increase or go in my favor or increase the trailing every 15 points, the frequency would be 15. And then the profit trigger when the auto trail will kick in be 49 points. So if I just have the auto trail, again, from my understanding, I'll probably have to like actually test this to give you a better answer. My stop loss is -50. When this kicks in at +50, then it's gonna move my stop loss from -50 to -35, as I have labeled here,
Gotcha.
15. And
So
then
all you're doing is minimizing your loss, but you will still be at a loss. You will not be in profit.
Correct. So let's say it only goes, let's say for the sake of the conversation, it goes 50 points in your favor, which is going to kick in the auto trail from -50 to -35. If it doesn't go to 65 points, it's not going to increase the stop loss from -35 points. So if it comes back against you, then you're going to leave at -35 points.
Got it.
That's why I like to use the auto break even to make sure 100% that I'm going to leave here with something.
Okay. Yeah, see, I think it's the wording, that's what threw me off, because I'm like, I don't want to come back to break, but it's not technically break even. It's just, I guess, I don't know why they use the words they use, but okay. So now I understand.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing. So like here for the auto break even, like, the profit trigger, I had to kind of figure that out. Like when I was messing with the ATM, I'm like, all right, cool, that makes sense. That's what that means when it hits this price. And then the plus, I wish, at least from what I know in the frequently asked questions, Tradovate doesn't necessarily give too many details unless they updated it. I haven't checked it out in like ages since I used it like a year or two ago. Maybe they have it more detailed now. But even the plus, I was confused. I'm like, what does that mean? Because it's not like break even plus this. It just says plus. I'm like, all right, what does plus in and of itself mean?
Yeah, I wonder if Ninjatrader's YouTube has explanation, because I think it would probably be the same, since they're the same company now. I'm gonna look when we get off. But I mean, you've done a good job explaining this, so now I know that this is what I want. I want auto break even, because exactly what you have on the screen is probably what I would do. I'm fine with going 50 points and then securing half.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is what I think $125 if it goes again.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I'll take that. And you can get, with YM, you'll get that in like less than 10 minutes. And I'm definitely happy with $125 an hour. I'll tell you that.
Okay, yeah. So I like that. That's so then the stop loss is 50, take profit is 100, profits, yeah, that looks good.
Sweet. Anybody else have ATMs that they want me to try to configure or help you configure? Or any questions on the ATMs? I haven't even been looking at the chat. All right, cool. The chat's empty. Yeah, you guys can come off mute, type it in the chat, whatever you want.
We're on Maury with all his ATMs.
My ATMs ain't for the quick, it's for the holders.
You got those ICT ATM settings.
Can you say that again?
I said my ATM ain't for the quick, it's for the holders.
Well, let's hear what you have. I mean, I kind of know your style. I'm just curious.
Omari's ATM will be something like this.
Yeah, he got complicated ones.
400 take profit at a liquidity level. No.
Nah, not that. Don't do that.
Let me be conservative. 300.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to pull my Ninjatrader up. I had shut it all the way down, so I gotta log back in. was lovely, and then it just went away.
Oh, word, my cousin finally made an appearance after being 50 minutes late, and this class was supposed to be for you, sir. See how it is. Omar, you can share your screen. Let me not share mine. Mike, when Omari's done, we'll go over your ATMs.
Okay, all good.
Let me see. What was Friday? The 25th?
26th.
26th, yeah. Auto replay. Or you probably can go over your cousins. Because it's taking forever.
Sounds good. Mike, open up your Tradovate and let me know when you're on it.
You want me to start a share screen?
No. You can just open yours up and then you can follow along on my screen.
Okay, one question. This says on the before, like you click launch when it says simulation,
Mm-hmm.
says warning, your clock is out of sync with the atomic clock. Please check your computer's time settings and log off and back in after changing.
Sounds like your computer's clock is off. I guess you can disregard that.
Yeah, it's at 5:52 though.
That's weird. Who knows? Maybe just restart your computer when we're done. I've never seen that. Granted, my thing has never been out of sync. Maybe it's a little glitch.
Mm. You have a share screen open? Because I can't see
Oh,
it.
whoops. Yeah, I forgot. There we go. Let me log in here so the internet doesn't know my password. All right, so let me know when yours is open.
18. Click on the card, right? Yep.
Yep, and then in this case, you could just make a new one. I think the one that you have, it like imprinted my settings on it. So what you can do is 4 hour. You can make yours like this, where it's just a simple, it's in ticks. Make sure you have it in ticks. And then the take profit and stop loss is 50 and 50. Or you can make that 40 and 40, really whatever you want.
Takes TPSL 50 and 50.
Yep, and then the stop loss type is just a regular stop.
Stop loss, like stop. Okay.
And then hit the plus so you can name that as something else.
Yep, I already did. 4 hour YM ATM.
Yep.
So
So
okay, my bad.
yeah, so in this case, it's going to be 50-50. I just have it as that. So obviously when you're getting in a strat trade, your stop loss and take profit is going to be different every single time. So I just have it 50-50 because that way I can just adjust it manually. So let's say, man, I wish we got like 5 minutes until the market is open. I wish I could show you. So let's say here, let's say I'm going to go short off this shooter. I already know that my stop loss is going to be like near 50% of this candle. So if I get in here, you can see that the stop loss is way higher than 50% of that shooter candle.
Okay.
So once you hit the order, you're immediately going to go and move your stop loss to where it's supposed to be, depending on the setup. And then your take profit, as we can see, it's under this second candle, which is the second target. But if you wanted to take profit at the first one, as soon as you hit the order, it would just manually adjust the take profit and stop loss. I just use 50 because if you have it set to like 10 profit, 10 point take profit and stop loss, that can happen in like 3 seconds, and then you prematurely get out of the trade on the winning or losing side. So you can use 40. I just use 50. Just so, like I mentioned, once I hit the order, I'll just click on the orders or the brackets and then just adjust them to whatever the specific setup is.
Okay. But
Does that make sense?
yep.
Cool. That way, what happened to you on Friday is that you had I got rid of it, but you had the auto trail YM for the 4 hour. So after it hit 30 points in your favor, it moved your stop loss up and then the auto trail kicked in. So instead of you leaving, I think it was like 75 points, it hit and then it like pulled back and got you out at like 30 or 40 points, which is still great. But you missed more of that move because it was auto trailing behind you as opposed to a fixed amount.
Mm-hmm. So when do you want it to like when would be a good trade when you want your that auto retracement to happen?
Like the auto trail.
Yeah, the auto trail. There you go, my bad.
So it depends. We were talking about it earlier. So let's say in this case for my retracement setup, if I use 2 contracts, I'm going to want the first one to be taken off at 30-point profit, which it'll do by itself. And then the second one, well, I don't even need auto trail for that. Just need auto break even. Then the second one, I either want it to hit 100 points in profit, or I want the trailing stop loss to take me out as it continues to go in my favor. So it's either going to go to 100 points, or it's going to keep on going higher until it stops me out for the second contract. So honestly, it really depends in the situation on what you're looking for. I only use the auto trail for like my other trade models, like if it's like the retracement or the tweezer and things like that. But if it's a strat setup, I'm just gonna manually set the take profit and stop loss, and then I just have to wait. What you can do is, since you missed it earlier, all right, we got 2 minutes. Yeah, we got 2 minutes. Let's just wait a bit so I can show you another live example since you missed it. But essentially, when it's time for you to mess with the trade in the sense of like you have more than one position and you want to leave a runner for having, you know, let's say you want the second one to hit 100 points as opposed to just 50 and you get out at target 1. You can set up what I'm going to show you in a bit to be able to move both contracts independently of the full trade, which I'll
So
show.
Evan, look at the 30-minute from Friday
30-minute on Friday.
and go to 9:30, the 2-2 rev. Actually, yeah. Scooch it in a little bit. Let me see something. Bring it in, see the left a little bit.
Over here.
Yes. All right. So how would you design one here where you would get it to auto break even at the first target, but let it keep going instead of getting out and let it trail you up as that one kept going past, it blew past all the targets on the left to get the maximum out on the trade, right? So that would be an auto break even.
So
You see how it, like, let's say you wanted to stop at that, even though it went past that, even, let's say you wanted to stop at that very last pivot over there, that sharpshooter, yeah, that. How would you do, let's say with one or two, what would you do? What would you set up for that?
this trade, it would be a little challenging to set it up like that because the auto trail and break even is always going to be different. You'll literally have to develop the trade immediately, like on the spot, like the ATM setting. For this, I'll just do it manually. So what I'll do here, now that the market's open, I can show you guys. What is this? This is for the 20. Let's do this practice one. Auto break even. Let's do strat. So let's say I got in on the 212 up. Set a buy limit. My max target, let's say, is up here. Then my first target, let's say, is at this candle right there. In this sense here, I would manually adjust this trade because it'll be challenging for me to all right, I have to literally calculate. All right, my first target's gonna be, what's that? 28 from 45. So about like 80 points, just rounding off because I don't want to do exact math. So I have to be, all right, first target is 80 points on the ATM. Second target that I want is going to be basically 239 points. And then I'll have to go into the ATM, set it up so it moves my auto trail or break even after it hits 80 something points in profit. To me, that's too much time consuming and too many variables to mess with at the same time. That's why for strat setups, I just manually move the trade. So you see here how I have 5 contracts initially, and then I have 3 getting off here. So I'm trimming the position and then I'm leaving the rest there. So here, for the sake of the conversation, let's say the first 3 got taken off. Let me see if I can like hide this. Actually, let me just take this off to pretend that the 3 were taken off. So now I only have the 2. So I'll manually move this to break even like this. And then every 25 points it moves in my favor, then I can be like, all right, let me move this to 75
How
now.
did you set that up? I didn't even see you do that. How did you set the separate?
Also, so in the ATM, you'll hit the plus where it says target 1 and target 2.
Oh, got it.
Then you put the quantity. So then here, all right, let's say my stop loss 50 points in general. Once it hits my first target and takes the 3 contracts off, I'm manually moving my stop loss to break even or slightly above. And then I'll manually see, all right, it moved 20 points from that first target. All right, let me move this up 20 points. And then every 20 points it goes, I'll keep on moving it up. Or if you want to do it like some strat people do, I do this sometimes too, where as soon as it triggers 2 up, I'll move it behind that candle and be like, all right, if this candle comes back, it's going to stop me out right here. If you want to like, maybe put your stop loss all the way up there to get more out of the move.
So you're saying in this instance, it's beneficial just to do it manually versus like, it's more complicated to do it with an ATM, actual.
Yeah, exactly. Because each ATM and stuff like that is always going to be unique to the specific strat setup.
Got you.
And then I'll have like 50 million ATMs for every single different type of trade and the variables. So for strat setups, I just find it more efficient to just set it something like this, like I mentioned. And then, let's say my max target is like up here. And then, the first, it takes profit at 30, 40 points, whatever it may be. And then let's say it triggered 2 up. All right, cool. Let me move my stop loss under that candle because we're still bullish. All right, triggered 2 up. All right, let me move my stop below that candle. All right, another 2 up. Let's move that there. And then this probably triggered 2 up, but then it would have came down and stopped you out. So I would have got all that extra juice out of the move until it stops me out.
Gotcha. So your auto break-even trades are not for the strat, it's for those other models.
Correct. Yeah, for the other models is where I would use the auto break even and the auto trail. The strat, I do everything manually. I just set the initial bracket order so I can quickly adjust it on the chart.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So should I do all like the same exact ATM for ES and RCY?
Well, remember, you have to, when you do it for RTY, you can do it the same way. Just remember that 1 point for YM is a tick. So if you're going to do it on MES, you have to remember that 4 ticks is in 1 point. So in this case, let's just say, we can name this one 5 point TP stop loss strat. And then 5 points will be 20 ticks. And then, so you can do yours now, and you can just look at what I have here and let me know when you do it, and then when you save it, so I can continue.
2020. Okay, I got the same exact thing.
Cool. So now let's say you want to get in on, let's say this candle right here, let's say this closes as a 2 up, but you want to take the short. You can put your stop. Whoops, I do not want 5 MES. Let's say you want 1, and we'll do 5. Oh, and always keep in mind about that too. Whatever you may have had in the last chart, make sure you're looking at the amount that you have here. Because by mistake, when I was messing with MYM, I had 5 contracts here messing around with settings. And I think I did something on YM and it had 5 contracts there. So always double check how many contracts you have pending.
Yeah, see, that's the one benefit with Ninjatrader, because you can save the quantity amount in the ATM on Ninjatrader.
Yep. Yeah, like, so if I open up a new chart, it'll take the last chart you had. So if I have it like this, 1 and 5, it'll stay as is. It won't like go into the other. But if you open up another chart, it will take the last amount you had rather. So always keep that in mind. So in this case, let's say we're going to go short under 5495. So I'll put a stop order there. Oh, whoops. I'll put a stop order here. Hello? So sell stop. So now let's say my take profit is down here. You just quickly move it to that level. And then if your stop loss is 50% of this candle, you just move that a little higher to whatever that may be. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So that way, because if you have something like this, let's just say 4 ticks, which is 1 point, and I go to place a buy stop. Well, let's place a sell stop rather. I don't want to get triggered in a sell stop. If this triggers and then goes right back up, you already got stopped out.
Yeah.
So
That shit used to happen to me when I first started paper trading.
So you want to give it room. You want to give yourself room to quickly adjust the trade with enough time that it doesn't quickly go against you. Something like that, right? So now I'm like, boom, boom, and then I'm done. Now I just have to wait.
That's good that you're telling me this also, because there's been a couple of times where let's say I'm doing the same exact thing you did. I'm buying in, and the the target will be so high up that I can't even get to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I talked about that earlier too. So you'll have to like zoom out of the chart to see all of that, right? Because if I'm doing something like this, like a 1 minute, actually, let's go to the ghetto. Let's go to the 30-second time frame. Can I do that? Seconds? Let's go to Omari land.
The question is, do you want to do that?
I definitely do not want to be here. I'll tell you that. So let's say you do buy stop, like a buy limit. I can't even see the take profit because it's not even on the chart.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I believe, remember that day where I was like logged out and it didn't let me log in, and I was in a trade and you had to tell me out with that? Believe that's what caused it, because that's what I was trying to do. and Tradovate crashed for me. I was trying to scroll up, and you see when you scroll up, it puts you back down.
Oh yeah, so like if you do something like this, it
Yeah,
just comes back
exactly.
down.
I think
If you
it
click
bugged
on-
my. That's my theory that it bugged my Tradovate, and that's the reason why I couldn't log back in. So everybody should be careful.
Yeah,
That-
can you fix that? Because I've been having that issue too. Like, is there a way around like to not make it,
That
or
is
is
a
it just
great question. I've never actually tried settings. Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I think that's just like a feature because like Thinkorswim, we already know if we're gonna zoom in, we have to like highlight the candles, which is annoying.
right? Or
As
you can move the price axis and move it down and up, but with
yeah,
this, if you move it down, it pops right back. I don't know why it does that.
yeah, like TradingView like has it perfect. If I want to zoom down here, I can do that, or if I want to zoom up here, I can do that without snapping back. I'll email Tradovate and see if that's a thing because
Yeah, ask them if they got like a pan feature, like where you can just move it and it won't pop back. Because like it's like they always want you to stay current. Well, sometimes you need to look left.
exactly, yep. And I don't want to like zoom out like this because now my candles are super tight, which is annoying.
I added a distract to mine, so that way I could, even if I do that, I can see it.
Let's see. Anything here? Lock menus, data box, crosshair, chart settings, the grid. Oh, that just turns off the grid, which is actually nice. It should have been turning off the grid. Current position. Maybe that's what that is. Oh, yeah, no, that's not what that is. Oh, current position is just, I think, this orange line. Oh, no, wait, what? Hold on, what is that? Oh, that's the position that you're in. Got it. All right, that makes sense. Continuous auto fit. Oh, maybe it's this off.
Oh,
There we go. All right, we're in business.
wait,
So,
let me open that up. So where was that again? Where you?
so when you're on the chart, you're gonna go to when like you just highlight over near the top left, it's gonna bring up like the
Yeah,
time frames. You're gonna click on the box chart settings. You're gonna go to continuous auto fit and you can
gotcha.
turn that off.
Yeah, that's not it.
All right. Life is a
Nice.
lot easier.
Thank you.
I'm glad it took us an hour and 12 minutes to figure this out. Shout out to you, Mike, because if you didn't bring that up, I would have not even looked at this.
Yes,
Beautiful.
sir.
All right. Beautiful. I love this. Can I? Yeah, they need to make their colors better because I need to make my chart as beautiful as TradingView, even though I just execute here.
Yeah,
Cool.
because of that, I only had the DOM up. I had the DOM, like I minimized the screen so you could only see the DOM. I had the DOM on the left of TradingView. And I
Smart.
export the chart.
When I join you guys back in the promised land, I'll do that. For those who don't know, this is how Brown has his setup. So I'm just squeezing it because I don't want to take my chart off, but his setup is something like it's like
Boom.
this. So it'll have the DOM. So he's charting it and then he's just placing the order here. And then since he has it connected to TradingView, it'll just appear on the chart and you could just manage it here if you don't want to manage it on Tradovate.
But now that we got the chart right, I might play with it a little bit. Cause now I got four screen. When we hang up, I gotta put my fourth screen up.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is definitely a game changer, I'll tell you that. Sweet. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. Do you guys have any other questions or anything else you want to go over for the
Yeah,
ATM?
we're on Mario with his tricky self.
Oh yeah, Mr. Omari. Is it working now?
Yes, it is working now.
Well, sir, the stage is yours for all you Ninjatrader lovers.
Oh, boom.
Don't be like that. Don't be. I think I have an ATM for gold, YM, and RTY. But even though I had ATM, I still look at the chart. Again, because it just reset it. Do I need to go full screen? Because it's not showing everything.
We are an hour and 10 minutes in. Let me just make a note when I do these timestamps later. Right.
Let me just go full screen because I don't know what else to do. So do this with gold. Y'all see this? For Ninjatrader.
It's very tiny. Oh wait, there, oh yeah.
So this is the ATM for gold.
20 and 100.
Yep.
Wait, so 20 is that's $200, right?
Yeah, $200 loss. Yep, one contract.
Yeah. And then 100 is that's 1,000, right? Yeah, 1,000. Damn, Amari.
I mean, gold. Oh, once it moves, it moves.
I mean, but yeah, you be on the 15-second chart. I mean, that's pretty wild for you.
I mean, those lower. That's just entry though. I'm just trying to get a better entry.
Gotcha.
Like, okay, if it does pull back, is it coming back around that area where I entered it, or is it just pulling back and then going to continue? But yeah, I had to break even 30 ticks and then +5 automatically. These here are, I think this one here is gonna be within that 100 tick range, but also if you want to go out further, even more, then these will start taking its place or keep trailing until whatever you have to take profit in. That's more than 180 ticks. Say you don't get stopped out. And one of the examples, I think it was on Friday. This is 10 chart. So if you came up here, I'm just going to test this out. So you let me add anything.
Say that again.
It's not letting me even add a contract or anything.
Damn, gold is busting right now. What that?
Oh, I need to change that. It's 15 minutes. I thought that was an hour.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Speed that up. See, that target's all the way up there.
And you have the auto trail kicked in or set up on that one.
No, it has.
3 ticks? Oh, this is previous date. I thought this was now.
Oh no.
I was like,
Oh, it's doing that. It's doing that right now.
It probably is right
It
now.
is. It's busting right now.
I was about to say, I was like, bro, Mr. freaking Crystal Ball did it again.
Yeah, we just crossed 2,400, so it's busting right now.
What do you have the auto trail kick in after? Like 5 points? 2 points?
30 ticks.
30 ticks. Gotcha.
The man in action.
I mean, if you want to, of course, you could move your stop loss.
There's 10 ticks and 1 point of gold, right?
Yeah, it's $100 a point, $10 a tick.
Nice.
So seeing something like this, yeah, you might. You could. But I know for me, as it gets closer, I move that stop up.
Mm-hmm. You don't want that like like 1 tick away, and then it just says, nah, I'm gonna take all of it.
I'll hit close real quick.
This was what? This was what? Friday night?
This was Thursday night.
Okay.
I had to. Let's see. It was something else I saw. I should have let that play out to go all the way up there, but
And catch all of them.
I mean, true.
It's not the top anyway. Well, you got that crystal ball, so maybe.
Look, man, once it gets to that -3, I'm like, I don't even care no more. Because I know if it goes to the -4, dang, I could have stayed in, but then stick to my setup.
I hear that.
But I will say on the lower time frames, it's a better chance to go to the -4 without getting stopped out.
I have to experiment a bit in the ghetto.
Huh?
I have to experiment a bit in the ghetto.
All right, what else you got?
Yeah. What's another example you want me to go over with Friday
You said YM and RTY. I know Trademaker want to see RTY.
RTY? Can y'all see this little box thing on top of the screen?
No. We
Hmm.
see TradingView and we see your playback screen for the Ninjatrader.
Okay.
That's it.
Because it's like in the way of my tabs.
Oh, the share screen thing.
Yeah.
You can't move it to
Oh,
another monitor. You can move it to another monitor.
yeah, you have to drag it out of the way. It's always super annoying. It should let you drag it out the way.
Oh, okay, cool. Dang. This is now?
Yeah, everything.
Hmm. Let me check. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Damn, but already though?
Yep, right there.
Like
It's
we
active already.
conversation yesterday. Doing all this already?
YM. MYM still got room. I mean, YM still got room. Yes, they got room.
Yo, Desi, I'm a dip. Thank you for helping me out with that.
Got you.
Later, man. Hit me later.
Will do.
Take care, y'all.
You too.
Later.
What time is this? 3. Let's say 3:20. About 3:20. What day is this? The 6th. What was I gonna say? Let's see. Okay. Oh, that was in the morning. I hate when it does that. And all that just to let it reset back. RTY.
So this is the ATM.
Yep.
That one has an auto trail.
Mhm.
There you go, trade. You got your RTY. Are we gonna look at any other ones, or think RTY was the last one?
Wait,
I am.
oh,
My
good.
favorite. My wife. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you won't see ES. That's right.
I don't think I need to redo ES actually. Yeah, I need to redo ES. Let me check that other one.
Explain what the target chase does for people who don't know.
Target chase is basically like how you just said previously, like the price action will get right before your target and then drop. Target chase, depending on how many ticks you want it to have. Since I have two, so say if it was to come right here and then drop, target chase will go get it and take you away. Just like also if you're trying to get into a play and let's say if you hit the buy bid and it seems like it skips right over it, if it happens to still be around the area, it will get it.
Makes sense.
So that's chase if touch, and then target chase is if it's going towards your profit, and then drops like 2 ticks below it, it'll go get it, and then take you out.
Cool.
Wait, so what was the original ATM?
This one, I can't remember. I think I was doing I think I was trying to scout with this one. Or not scout, but like add more contracts at a time.
Gotcha. And what was Russell again? Russell is 20 and what? Was it 20 and 100?
Yeah.
Each. Yeah, 20 and 100. And then what did you say YM was? 20 and 70. I know you had showed me your MNQ before. You got, which is 7, I think.
Oh yeah. Yep. But lately, I had took it off because the way NQ the wicks, it kept giving me that one time I took like 4 trades on it back to back to back, and I made like $75 because it kept coming back to my break even. So I changed it far as taking off the auto trail and just having my break even. Actually I took off the break even. Yeah, I took all of that off. So when it just does break a structure, whenever I enter that, I'll just move it to break even.
Okay.
And then just manually. Cause yeah, that time I entered 4 times back to back, just kept coming back to my break even.
So 40 ticks for NQ. MNQ is that's 10 points, right?
Yeah.
So that's
It's like
10,
$120 on MNQ.
or is it 200? Like $2. Yeah, something like that.
Well, depending on how many contracts, because this one's 6. So I think seven is like 140. Because I know 5 is 100.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna do this real quick.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled.
I'm gonna go to 83. Let's see how this out. What RTY had to do all that today? I mean, tonight. Why couldn't do that in the morning?
They do that. They like to move overnight. That must be where they like to play overnight.
Hmm.
That and gold.
That right, that it goes.
But see all the foreign forex people like gold, so that's why gold move at night. Europe and all them people be playing it.
I'm definitely looking at that tomorrow night.
I think gold is like the equivalent of NQ for future traders.
Yeah, it is. They love it. Like them foreigners love XAU.
Mm-hmm. What's your ATM for RTY after how many ticks that goes in your favor? Removes the break even for auto trail? No, 55 ticks, 5.5 points. Not bad. Oh, no, wait. 45 ticks plus 4. Cool.
Definitely can't look at your P&L if you're gonna hold.
100%. For
100%.
whoever's still watching the replay until this point, don't even look at it. Just walk away. This trade is gonna do its own thing.
Can't be mad at $950.
Definitely cannot.
This was Friday morning.
Yep.
All right. We can keep chopping it up. Anything else on ATM's trade that you want to go over? If not, I'll stop the recording.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. This was very helpful.
Man, the best thing I got out of this session was the the continuous the chart unsnapping from Tradovate.
Yeah, that was pretty significant for me too.
Yeah,
That and figuring out what the hell auto break even mean, how to work the auto break even.
definitely. All right, Trade, you got about 20 seconds before I stop the recording in case you have any other questions.
No, we're good. I just watched the recording